All right.
Hello, Gali.
Hello. Welcome back, everyone, to another
Hi,
Tuesday
everyone.
Live. You're back from
Tuesday,
Israel?
I'm back from heaven, and I arrived to heaven.
Yes. Welcome back to heaven.
From heaven to heaven.
Yeah, from a more direct heaven in Israel
Yes, into this heaven.
to another heaven.
Yes.
How can you see us and how can you hear us? Is it all good? Please let us know. Say hi if you're here.
Yes.
Okay,
Let's see.
sound
Just
is
check
good.
the sound.
Okay, perfect.
Can you hear the sound?
Yeah,
Is it okay?
yeah, it's all good. Okay,
good.
great.
So,
we're diving in. Today we're talking about the subject of past lives again, although we did speak about that a couple of weeks ago, but it's a subject that is gigantic and much to talk about. And with a kind of an angle on also the dead. And can you speak to the dead? Everybody
Yes.
would love to know that, because you might have people that have passed, or you're wondering if you'll still be able to talk when you pass.
Yes.
And so that's the topic for today.
Okay.
The question is, where do you want to dive in on the subject of past lives as a whole?
Okay, so let's first of all, let's say hi to everyone that here.
Yes.
So Shaked, hi. And
yes, hi.
Facebook user, two Facebook users.
Yeah, all good. Hi, guys. Okay, we can't
Yes.
see your name, but hello.
Hi.
Maybe it's Mariah. And Anita said, hi, sound is good. Excellent. And Lorna, hello. And hi, Carl. Good to have you on. Okay, so.
Hola. Hi.
Yeah, hola. Oh, Mariah, yes, I figured. Hi, babers. Mwah. See
Okay,
you soon.
hi. Nice to see you.
Yes.
Okay, so past life. So most people have this question, is there such thing as past life?
Yeah.
That's probably the first question. And I think that the question is not so much, is there such thing as past life, but do you have a current life?
Interesting. Let's start with that. Get a life.
Get a life first.
Yeah.
So I think that if you will actually look, the reason you don't have a life is because you have too many past lives that affecting you right now.
I can see that. Do you mean too many past lives as in literally past lives, or even
Past
just
lives. Things that happen in past lives that affecting you right now?
Okay, but for the person that says, but I don't think I have past lives.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. I think that most people hope they don't have past lives.
Yeah, exactly. Ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they also hope they don't get what they deserve when they go to the next life.
Exactly.
So, but how do you know that there is past life? I think we covered that a lot in the last interview,
Right.
where there are many things that the only explanation is past life. A child that's born and can speak English in an Arab village that no one speaks English.
Yeah.
Or a child that remember his past life as a pilot in the Second World War and knows exactly where his plane fell, and remember his sister and the other sister that not alive anymore, and all kind of things.
Verifiable. Like this is a thing that was on the news and was like very highly publicized.
Yeah, it was God Google said that.
Yes, so it's true. Exactly.
So it's true. So it's really obvious. Like I think that anyone that don't know that there is past life, and it's not a matter of believing, just don't want to confront. The answer is why important to handle if there is past life or there is past life, and whatever.
We're having connection issues, it said.
Okay.
Just a moment. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
So if there is past life or there is no past life, you can call it chakachuka. I don't mind how you call it. But the moment that we handle past life, this lifetime get handled.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. So even if you don't believe, if you don't know, the fact is that the moment that the person find his past lives and handle what happened there, he starts to handle he actually get a life.
Yeah.
And not the second before.
There's a market improvement now.
100%.
Doesn't matter how it happened, somehow, magic, whatever. But when you dealt with it, now
get improved. So even if you don't believe it, it's who cares?
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk more about the dead because this concept of losing your body, what people call death, is something that bothers a lot of people. People are afraid of it. People don't want to confront it. People don't like to talk about it. And the truth is that if you look, you will see that when a person dies, what actually happened, the spirit leaves the body, and most people think about it as the spirit leave the body, but the spirit don't leave the body because the spirit is a nothingness. So a nothingness cannot go out of a somethingness.
Right.
So what's really happened is that you, the spirit, consider that the body is not usable anymore, and at that moment you go and you pick up a new body. Okay.
Can I ask a
Yeah,
question
of
there?
course.
So maybe which will also kind of fill in the concept a little. What is then an out of body experience?
Okay. An out of body experience is just a moment where you stop considering that you are the body. How do you jail something that's so powerful like a spirit? Spirit is the most powerful thing in the universe. So how do you jail the spirit? You convince it that it's the body. It's like, how do you jail a driver? You convince it that that the driver is the car.
Yeah.
So the driver will never leave the car because someone may steal the car, or
Yes.
something may happen to the car. So the guy is living inside the car, and after a while he believes that he is the car. It's exactly like if the spirit start to believe that the body is valuable, and so it start to protect the body, it start to be with the body, and the moment that something happened to the body, you consider that something happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's life for most people,
Yeah,
right?
that's
I mean,
most people.
100%. Yeah.
Now, the moment that you realize that you are not your body, what will happen is that you will, it's like anything that, if you are within a problem, did you notice that if you have a problem, you find it very hard to solve the problem?
Yeah.
But if someone else tell you about a similar problem that he has, you give him all the right advices and you know exactly what to tell him.
Of course. Always.
Yeah, and it's spot on.
Yeah.
Why? In order for you to solve a problem, you need to be exterior to the game, exterior to the problem. So for as long as you are within the body, you will have the liability of having a body.
Yeah.
So you'll have the pains, you'll have the discomfort, you'll have the limitation of a body, a physical thing. When you have an out of body experience, it's just a moment where you realize that you are not your body. Just moments that you realize that you are not your body. And the more you realize that you are not your body, the less you'll be worried about dying. Because if you know that you are not your body, then the hell with the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something happened to the body, so what?
Right. Right.
So when a person dies, a person experiencing a massive loss, they think that they are the body. And when a person dies, he loses his body, he loses his friends, he loses his car, he loses his money, he loses everything. He loses his problems, like everything.
Yeah.
Now, we, in relationship to that person, we lost just one person.
Right.
So for him, there's a massive loss. Massive loss. The only way for you to communicate with that being, if you want to communicate with the dead, what you need to do is to realize that he has a loss, not you. Your loss is nothing. If you start to tell him, look what happened to me, I have a big loss and I'm so sad and I'm so upset, he will think that he's done something really, 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 really bad, and he will not communicate to you. But the moment that you will realize that, okay, the body died, he did not die, and it's okay, that being will communicate to you.
And that's amazing. How do you know that moment? So let's say that a loved one dies, and first of all, yeah, we obviously, oh, it's terrible, but you need to kind of let that go and realize it's tough for
You
them.
have to end cycle on this terrible, because if you feel it's terrible, the person will not talk to you because he caused you. It's like a thief steal from you, he then don't want to come to you and talk to you. Yes,
Yes.
he's running away. When
Yeah.
you commit a sin, you run away from the area.
I see. That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you tell him, look, you committed the sin, he will not talk to you.
Yeah.
But if you tell him, oh, you died, it's not a problem. Well done. So let me talk to you. And you actually start to talk to the being. And you're not looking for a location or something. You start to talk to the being. All of a sudden, you will see that you're in communication with the being. And the only problem that you have is that you will start to justify and say, no, I'm just imagining, or I'm just. So the guy that just lost everything, that has a little bit of communication with you, and you were like, oh, he doesn't believe that he communicates with me. Now he has another loss. So he will not. So you cannot invalidate what you know.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, okay, so you have somebody, a loved one that dies. You kind of handle yourself on the loss to whatever, easier said than done to some degree. Maybe we can talk about that. But let's say you've handled it. And then you now, when you want to communicate to the person, are you talking about out loud, or is it just a decision, or in terms of the communication?
You just know that you're in communication with him. You just talk to him. And you can talk to him loud, but generally you just know. You're just in communication with him. You just know.
Okay, and then how do you know that they will, now they've started talking to me?
Because you know.
So you just have this.
It's like you know that he talks to you. So the thing is that you have to, first of all, get into your mind this idea, and then just find someone that died for you and communicate to him. And you will see that he will answer.
Interesting. Amazing. And now what if...
The only enemy is your own doubt.
Yeah.
The only enemy is your own doubt. Let's have a look at the comments, because
so
there are a lot.
Someone here, one of the comments, how long can they communicate with you? Which was one of my questions. So what if they've gone now and started another life and they have a family and it's been a few years and can you still...
Yeah, you can still communicate.
Because it's still the same spirit.
Because the spirit is the spirit.
Yeah.
Did you ever heard a situation where you felt like someone talking to you, like there is someone that talking to you?
Absolutely.
Like it sounds maybe weird, and you say, "Oh yes, just before I went into this institution."
Yeah, many people were talking to me.
That's why they locked me up.
Exactly.
But seriously, you will see that somehow you just have these ideas, or just have this communication, or just have this, oh, be careful, or look there, or do you remember that, or you remember someone, or there is a communication. If you will not invalidate it, you will get straight in communication with that person.
Yeah, and it applies to people that are alive as well, all the time.
Of course.
Obviously, but I mean, I have it all the time where I'll think of someone, message them, and they'll tell me I was just talking about you. So it happens all the time. Or I can tell when people, you just know.
Yeah.
So that applies even to somebody that, let's say, was your grandpa that now is 15 years old somewhere else. You can still
100%.
Yeah.
Let's look at the comments.
Yes. Okay, so let me just scroll up. And by the way, if you have questions, if you have anything like that, you can definitely get in touch. So first of all, Molly and Patrick say hi. Hello. And okay, it says here, okay, Ella, here, take my advice. I'm not using it. Yeah, from Anita. And Carl said, the only reason people stay as ghosts is because they don't want to leave. They are stuck in something. Of course, a spirit can take a fresh breath and not be in a body too. And another Facebook user, I'm surprised to learn about spirituality from you. Go, Meir, go. Yes, a lot of that from him. Yes. Carl, very true. How long do they communicate? We've answered. Anita, this works for me. You just know. No doubts, 100%. And when they know, you know, they are happy and you can hear them laughing in their true voice as you recall. Beautiful. And Aideen said, so powerful, Lior. Can this happen in a dream? And that's after that.
Okay. So a dream, just a dream, and then you will see. A dream is just an effort to handle an area that you did not confront during the day. So a dream is just an effort to handle an unconfrontable area, something totally different. And you can communicate in a dream, because if you are not confronting the dead, someone died and you cannot confront the fact that he died, you may communicate with him while you are dreaming, but you need to know that anything that happened during the dream is an area you need to start confronting. What do I mean confronting? You need to start communicating with. It's an area you did not communicate with. If you feel that you're falling in a dream, you are not communicating with heights, you are not communicating with falling, you are not communicating with climbing. You have all kind of things around that. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. If you have a dream that you're getting burned, you are not communicating with heat. The whole subject of heat is something that you're not communicating with. And usually you will see that all of those things are incident from past life that you did not confront. And now they're bothering you. Handle the past life. You will find out what's happened and you'll see that not only your dream will be handled, but your life will be handled.
Yes, that's amazing. And what about good dreams? What about if you have pleasant dreams about
something area that you did not confront? You dream about, I don't know.
You made $1 million and you're now whatever.
I was more thinking about doing a wheelie.
Okay. You're on a motorcycle, you do a
wheelie, and having fun. And then, okay, fine. This is something you don't fully confront, a wheelie.
Okay.
That's something you not fully confront. Even if you can do it, even if you're doing it, there's something, you have some kind of a fear, some kind of a worry about it.
Okay. I love dreaming, for example. It's so fun. And it's like watching great movies.
Yeah.
So is it a bad thing to dream or?
It's a wonderful thing to dream, as long as you know what it is.
Yeah, I see. Interesting. Okay,
like
great.
Anything, if you know what it is, it cannot hurt you. The only thing that can hurt you is those things that you are unwilling to communicate with.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, great. And then Alex, we'll get to your question in just a moment. And then it says here, how do you know for sure it's them and not entities?
Entities, how do you know that a being talked to and not an entity? An entity repeats the message. They don't have two-way com. Entities are very degraded beings, and they know one thing. They have one thing, and they're set up on one thing. It's like when you talk to a robot, you know you're talking to a robot. That's the difference.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Entities are set on one thing. They know what to do one thing, and this is what they do, and they don't react to logic. Beings, actual spirits, react to logic.
I see. So you'll notice that there's a communication happening.
It's an actual communication. Yeah. It's not robotic. It's not move the door, move the door, move the door, move the door.
I see. Okay, great. And then Alex said, how do you explain the growing population? Where are all these additional spirits coming from?
Okay, so spirit is not... Okay, shut up.
Alexa. She wants to be involved. Yeah.
Okay.
A robot. Talk to a robot.
Talk to a robot. See what's up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So spirits, like when you think about the physical universe things, you think about 1, 2, 3, 7, 60. Spirits do not have numbers.
Yeah.
There is not 1, 2, 5, and a finite number of things. So if you count how many people, how many bodies there are on the planet, there is a finite number. And they're either growing or becoming smaller, because in this universe, there are specific laws that says the smallest number is 2, and everything is multiplying.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of laws in the physical universe.
Yes.
The spiritual universe has nothing to do with the physical universe. So there's no such thing as limited number of spirits or spirits that come from something. There is no prior cause.
I see.
So you have to separate and to understand that anything that's true for the physical universe is false for the spiritual universe. Anything that's true for the physical universe is false for the spiritual universe.
Powerful. That's amazing. Yeah. And now, is there, but there's still the element of individuality. Each spirit as an individual, like my spirit, I'm a spirit, right?
I'm a spirit, yes.
Yeah. So, but it's different or separate to another, to yours.
No, you're trying to think about different or separate
because
you're trying
it's physical.
To use it in a physical sense,
yes.
But it's not physical. There's no big or small spirit.
Yeah.
There's not powerful spirit or weak spirit. If you think that in the physical universe there is a certain amount of energy and there's a limit to the energy, there's no limit to the energy that the spirit can create.
I see.
In the physical universe, you consume energy. In the spiritual universe, you create energy.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Totally. Yeah.
Everything that is in one way in the physical universe is the opposite in the spiritual universe. And before you'll be able to get the concept of the spiritual universe, and it's problematic because you need to understand something that is not physical by physical means. So most people find it very difficult. But the moment that you click, the moment that you realize, you know that there's no time. Spiritually, there's no time. There's not 1, 2, 3. There is no beginning. There's no end. It's totally, totally different.
Okay, that's amazing. So, I mean, I know, by the way, that there's questions. I'm going to get to them, but I know that there is a seminar that's coming up all about this. I mean, I have questions about, so how do we know that we're individual spirits and things like that, which I know you'll get to. We'll talk about the seminar in just a sec. Or do you want to talk about it now and then answer these questions?
Let's answer the question first.
Okay. So, that we've answered, the growing population, right? That we've covered that. What about impressions of them being in heaven, like somebody dead?
Yeah. Okay. So heaven and hell is a very interesting concept, and if you're worried about hell and you are in the physical universe, you are already in hell. You don't need to be sent to hell. So don't worry about hell.
The hell with it.
The hell with it. And heaven and hell is just an implanted idea. There's no such thing. Heaven and hell is just, it's false. It's an implanted idea. I know that many people afraid of hell and hoping to go to heaven.
Or that their religion is all around heaven and hell, right? So this goes directly against...
It's not going against the religion, because if you understand what religions say, they talk about heaven and hell not as a space. They talk about it as a concept of something good and something bad. The people that explain it have misunderstanding about what the spirit is all about. So they're creating it, turn it into a physical thing. But the spirit is not limited and is not going to be handled by being punished or by being rewarded. The spirit is the thing that creates the punishment. The spirit is the thing that creates the reward. Your mind is what you create. It's the pictures you create. And the moment that you realize that you create the experience that you create, that you experience, you create the experience that you experience, no one can give you hell and no one can give you heaven, because it's you. Now, how do I know? Because I can take the same experience and one guy will think that it's amazing and one guy will think that it's terrible.
Yeah.
So you create your own experience, so no one can punish you with an experience. So
Amazing.
the only thing that you can do against a spirit is convince the spirit that it doesn't know. And so it will get all the knowingness from an exterior source.
Yeah. And so become reliant on that source, and so lose its native abilities.
So the truth is that heaven and hell is an implanted idea that a lot of people believe in. But the moment that you recall past lives, you realize that in between lives, the in-between lives area, and in the in-between lives area, you actually discover that the problem is not heaven or hell. The problem is the in-between area, life areas. And what are you going to do there? Are you going to become better in that area or worse? And what you're doing in this lifetime will define, will you be able to escape the in-between life trap or not?
Wow. Very well. Very well. Anita said, thanks for answering the question.
Yeah.
That was an amazing answer. And Facebook user here said, wow. Yes,
Yeah.
big wow. I think that's Mariah. It is big wow. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, I agree. Gotta love dreaming. Yeah, and the interesting worlds. Carl, I don't think there's unlimited amount of spirits either. Okay, which we've sort of covered because it's not.
There's no amount,
Yeah.
actually, yes.
How do you keep from getting confused after death? How do you break the amnesia cycle?
Okay. So if you will realize so generally the general way to do that is either by raising knowledge or raising responsibility. Because in between life, if you don't have the knowledge and responsibility, you will lose control. Okay.
Yeah.
And you will be implanted. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you really understand the mechanism of past lives and the in-between life mechanism, if you really understand the mechanism of implants, if you really understand that you don't die, so you don't get into the restimulation of, oh, I lost my body, so I will take anything. It is like a guy that cannot get a beautiful woman will find any woman.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. So if you really realize that this thing is just a show, it's not real, you will see that you will not go for the implants as a substitute for life. So you need to really learn what's going on in the in-between lives, not because someone tell you, but because you need to recall it so it's real to you. Not that I will tell you, well, in between life, this and this and this happened. It's nonsense. It's not real. It will not really help you. You need to recall what happened in between lives. You need to recall your past lives, and you need to know it. And so once you know, you gain control. And once you are in control, no one can implant you again. So this is, if someone will tell me what's the most important thing for a spirit, the most important thing for a spirit is to know that it knows. And you can do that by recalling, by knowing what actually bring about amnesia, what actually cause you to forget past lives. And once you recover this ability, which you never lose, by the way, once you recover that, you will see that you will escape this jail, this dwindling spiral, this vicious cycle of coming back. And every time that you come back, you become weaker and weaker and weaker.
Incredible. Incredible. Just off of that, so Riku here, the ever so talented Riku, hi. Perception is everything, huh? One man's fun is another's hell.
Yeah, that's correct.
And Carl said, and Elon wants to send rockets to Mars. Will be interesting. Yeah, Lizette said, wow. And then there's a couple other questions, but I'll keep going in order. Carl, of course, some beings are bigger than others. They are not equal. It is its own consideration.
Yes, so it's not that they're bigger than others, because spirit don't have size. But I can say that some beings are willing to create effect A, and some beings are willing to create effect B.
Yeah.
But they are not bigger than others. There is no limitation. The good news is that people told you that you're maybe not smart, or you thought that you're not as smart, or not as clever, or not as powerful. This is all bullshit. Every spirit is a total potential, which means you have no limitations. Every spirit is a total potential, which means it has no limitation. And the only reason people trying to convince you that you are weak, that there is walls that you cannot go through, and that you are not as powerful, is because you are extremely powerful, because you know everything, because for you the sky is not the limit. If you are not as powerful as you are, why will someone build a whole physical universe that convinces you non-stop that you are limited. If you are weak, no one will need to convince you that you are limited. You wouldn't need walls, and wouldn't need space, and you wouldn't need energy and nothing. You're just limited, so you'll not try. You don't go around and convince ants that they are limited. They're limited. They know that.
Yeah, it's also like the worse the criminal, the bigger the walls, right?
Yeah.
The stronger the jail.
Yeah, exactly.
They're powerful in a very bad direction, so they need a very powerful jail. Amazing. And yeah, Anita said goosebumps. To know that it knows is amazing.
Yeah.
Rushina said, who's running the show in the in-between lives area? Are they humans? Are they other spirits?
Okay, so that's a very good question, and there's a lot to talk about it. But so first of all, on Earth, at any given moment, you've got humans and you've got beings that are not from this planet that running the show. And there are different forces that are operating on the planet, and they're amongst us. And if you've been in any kind of a high-level classified military operation in around the world, you heard about it and you know about it. So it's known that in the physical universe, right now, everything is run by people that look like normal people, but they are aliens. And those aliens, those beings, are actually running the show. And the difference between them and the average man in the street is that they know that they know. But there is nothing in them that's more powerful than you and me. Nothing. It's just they know that they know, and the average man in the street know that he doesn't know. Everyone convinces you to be careful. The more careful you'll be, the weaker you'll be. Everyone convince you that you don't know. And the more you convince that you don't know, the less you will reach. Everyone convinces you that you are weak, that you live only once. If you think that you live only once, you'll be extremely afraid. And when you're afraid, you're not in communication. And when you're not in communication, you cannot really have. What can't you have? You. So, everything that happens in the physical universe is designed to keep you jailed. Do the opposite, and everything will work out. If 99% of the people, 99.9% of the people failing in the physical universe, if you will randomly do just opposite of what everyone else is doing, you'll be successful. What does it mean to be successful? You'll become you.
Incredible. Very, very powerful. Yeah, amazing. Such a great subject and great questions, by the way. I think from Mariah here, do you have to know your past lives to stop yourself from being implanted?
You have to understand the mechanism of the in-between lives. And every past life, what happened is because you didn't know the mechanism of in-between lives, you've been given a purpose and you've been given a limitation for that purpose, which convinces you that you are weak. So you need to, the only reason you need to handle your past lives is to remove your own decisions that you are weak. Because you failed or you caused damage and you say, whoa, I'm bad or I'm weak. I'm bad or I'm weak. And every time you decided that you are bad, because you're really good, you decided, okay, fine, I will not do that anymore. And every time you got convinced that you are weak, you say, okay, fine, so I will not try this anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason you need to know about past lives. And the beautiful thing is, we are lucky that we don't have to go through all the past lives, because whoever implanted us was a little bit cuckoo. and full with themselves. So they repeated the implants. The implants are repeating with all people. Everyone has the same kind of implants. It's not that everyone has his own specific programming. The same people with the same messages. And once you start to find, it become very simple, and like you see it, like simpler than watching a YouTube video.
Amazing. Very amazing. In reference to the people that are among us, the aliens among us, Riku asked the reptilians and the Nords, right?
We will talk about it. There's a lot to talk about. I don't want to open a whole new subject.
Okay, there's a few more questions. Do you want to? I mean, I know we're in it for. Okay,
yes.
Great. So, Carl said the spirit can be much stronger without the body. A poltergeist can move objects. We can't right now. Do you have an explanation of this lost ability?
Yeah. So first of all, you never lose your ability. That's number one. You never lose the ability. And the spirit cannot be stronger or weaker, but you can have a consideration that you are stronger or weaker. So we're lucky that the spirit never loses its ability. It's only losing its willingness to demonstrate the abilities. So once you handle why you are unwilling to demonstrate your abilities, you start to using your abilities. So it's not that you have that your engine become weak. The handbrakes is up. So release the handbrake and everything is fine. The engine is still strong as the day it was born.
Amazing. And Mariah said, wow, thank you. And Aideen said, love you, sir. And Carl said the implant also invalidates abilities one has had in his life.
Yes, the implants, really the only thing that they do in implants is they make sure that you will agree to accept a purpose and an inability to execute that purpose. And at that moment, you have a strong engine that pushing on one side and the same engine pushing the other side. So you're stuck. And the miracle is that beings are so powerful that people can still build buildings and somehow have a society and somehow have life. That's the miracle.
True. And even day to day, people get hit with so much just day-to-day life stuff, and they continue and survive. So the final question I see here is from Riku, who said, if you know you are made from energy, and energy is a constant, rendering you truly immortal, you become invisible. That doesn't fit the narrative of those in power.
Okay. So first of all, you are not composed of energy. You are not made of energy. The spirit is not physical and energy is physical. So the spirit is non-physical. Anyone that tells you that he is spiritual and is doing energy work, basically exposing himself that he doesn't know what he's talking about, because the spirit is a nothingness. It's not a somethingness. Energy is actually a release of potential. So when you release potential, when you lose potential, what you get is a release of energy. So energy is the manifestation of loss of potential. Energy is the manifestation of loss of potential. It happens in the physical universe. Because in the spiritual universe, there's no start, change, stop. There's no beginning. There's no end. So the spirit is not physical. It has nothing to do with energy other than it can postulate, it can put energy there, as much energy as it wants. Actually, the Greeks had the idea that the spirit is the source of energy, and they were not wrong. So the spirit is the source of energy, but it's not energy. So the source of something is not something. The source of iPhone is not iPhone. So it's really important to realize that while many people talk about energy as a synonym to the spirit, nothing to do with each other. Energy is a physical universe manifestation. Energy is a physical universe manifestation. It's not a spiritual manifestation. And if it's happening in the physical universe, it has nothing to do with the spiritual universe. Because anything that happens in the physical universe has zero to do with the spirit or with the spiritual universe.
Yeah, amazing. And Riku said, love it. The spirit is the source of energy. Yeah. And wow, always get so much from your explanations, Meir, like a reboot of validation of knowing, clarity with outside controls on the planet. The feeling suppressed can be hard some days. Yeah.
Amazing.
And yeah, amazing, very much. And one more question: what are implants that are being referred to? Yes, good question.
That's a very good question. I'm assuming that,
That everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yes. Implant. Okay. So in between life, there are periods that the spirit get convinced. So when you have when you lost something, when you lost a lot, anything is something for you. When you have nothing, you will be willing to get anything as a substitute for what you had.
Yeah.
So when the spirit considered that it lost so many things, there is a process where there are messages that the spirit get that invites it to get back what it lost or part of what it lost. The messages is, come, I'll give you the memories that you lost. I give you the beings that you lost. I will put you in communication. There are different messages, specific messages that the spirit get that it react to. And so the spirit goes into a specific place with the hope to get something of value. And you sit in a different kind of implants, but you sit in a space or you arrive to a space, you get oriented in that space and you get convinced to get things that you wanted, and they start to play for you things that happen in your past. And you really enjoy those pictures because those are pleasant moments. But in between those pleasant moments, they start to implant, to put into these pictures subliminal pictures that gives you all kind of ideas or that are not yours. And you believe that they are yours. And as time goes by, they start to use, they're causing you to be unconscious. They're using pain, they're using sex, and they're using drugs in order to push into you ideas that are not yours. And so a few things happening. First of all, you get purposes and counter purposes. And second, you start to think that you are bad. They convince you that you are bad. The worst thing you can do for a spirit is to convince the spirit that you are bad, that it is bad. And the spirit is not bad. And when it gets convinced that it's bad, what happened is that it prevents itself from acting. How do you lose your power? You get convinced that you are bad, and so you don't act.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
quite unbelievable.
An amazing just day to day to not agree, to be convinced that you're bad.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I hope that answers it. That was a great answer. Like right to it. Here it is. Take it or leave it. Amazing. And yeah, Anita said amazing. And William asked, how do you get out of being trapped by thinkingness?
Okay, so thinkingness, let's define thinkingness. Thinkingness is a substitute for action. So thinkingness is what you do when you look at your past. So you need to get yourself into present time, and there's different methods of how to get yourself into present time. The first thing you need to know is that every time you don't get the expected result, every time you procrastinate, every time you think, what you do is you have an effort not to confront life by looking, not confronting, by being the effect of the past. So there are different ways to get yourself into present time. I think that we are a little bit short of time to explain that. It's a little bit bigger answer. But you can, if you go on my YouTube channel, you will find the explanation there. It's all there.
Great. And then last question, I think. A spirit cannot be drugged, though. It can be affected by exterior forces, though.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Can it?
So when you are in an implant station and once they convinced you that you are a thing. And once they give you all those memories that are not yours, you get drugged not by through the body, but through the pictures. Because the drugs don't have any power. You know that every drug used to be a miracle cure. Do you know that at one time alcohol was curing anything, and eventually it became bad for people? And it is the same process that they are using. So again, a little bit short of time.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, this was amazing.
Thank you.
Right. This is something that I think that everyone should watch at least twice. And please share. Do you want to talk about this upcoming seminar? The
Yes,
plans?
we're going to go. You're going to have a seminar in Toronto.
Yeah.
In August 9.
Okay.
It will be 7-day seminars, and we're going to handle past life and the body. We're going to really learn what the body is all about, how it operates, etc. Why people get sick. What can you do in order to make sure that you use the body and not serve the body? What do you do when something goes wrong with the body? How do you actually get out of the body once it's time to leave the body? How do you make sure that you leave the body and it's not actually a whole liability, that you don't feel that you have a massive loss? How do you become you? We're going to cover the in-between life areas. We're going to cover all the invader forces and how they operate on Earth and what they do. We're going to cover everything you need to know in order to become you again.
It's like these past 40 minutes for 7 days straight.
Exactly.
But also with a ton of drills.
Yeah,
with
lots of drills,
so
lots
that
of drills and actual
getting
things
you
that
to find
you
it.
will find it,
Yeah.
not because I tell you. The whole idea is that you will find it, not I'm telling you that.
Yeah, amazing. So it's August 9th.
Yes.
7 days, so August 9th to 16th, more or less. If you would like information about it, to sign up for it, etc., you can email info@gprosperity.com.
Perfect, yes.
info@gprosperity.com. And we can get you sorted, because soon there'll be a landing page with all the info and whatever. But if you want to reserve your spot because they're limited, just write into us.
Yeah, and then I think on Friday I'm going to do a free webinar, probably for about an hour and a half, where I will talk more about what we will learn there.
Oh, amazing.
Etc. So, yeah.
Okay, great. That's also great.
Yeah.
Good. We'll have info on that. If you're not on our newsletter, get on it so that you can find out about these lives, about free seminars, about everything we're doing. So thank you very much to everyone that was on. Thank you for all the questions.
Yes.
Share this.
Yes.
And thank you, Avale.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you. I love you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.